Ayan. So another old building. Yes. Al-Balad was founded in the 7th century and historically served as the center of Jeddah. Al-Balad's defensive walls were torn down in the 1940s. In the 1970s and 80s, when Jeddah began to become wealthier due to the oil boom, many Jidawis moved north, away from Al-Balad, as it reminded them of less prosperous times. Al-Balad had insufficient parking space for large cars. Its stores did not sell expensive designer clothing. Poor immigrants moved in place of the Saudi population. The municipality of Jeddah began historical preservation efforts in the 1970s. In 1991, the municipality of Jeddah founded the Jeddah Historical Preservation Society to preserve the historical architecture and culture of Al-Balad. In 2002, 4 million US dollars were earmarked for the Preservation Society. In 2009, Al-Balad was nominated by Saudi Commission for Tourism and Antiquities to be added to UNESCO's World Heritage List, and it was accepted in 2014. In order to preserve the old structures within Al-Balad, the Historical Area Preservation Department was established in 1990, hoping also to help promoting cultural tourism in the country. Historic Jeddah is situated on the eastern shore of the Red Sea. From the 7th century AD, it was established as a major port for Indian Ocean trade routes, channeling goods to Makka. It was also the gateway for Muslim pilgrims to Makka who arrived by sea. These twin roles saw the city develop into a thriving multicultural center characterized by a distinctive architectural tradition, including tower houses built in the late 19th century by the city's mercantile elites and combining Red Sea coastal coral building traditions with influences and crafts from along the trade routes. Historic Jeddah is an outstanding reflection of the Red Sea architectural tradition, a construction style once common to cities on both coasts of the Red Sea, of which only scant vestiges are preserved outside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the nominated property. Historic Jeddah had a symbolic role as a gate to Makkah for Muslim pilgrims reaching Arabia by boat since the 7th century AD, when the third Caliph Uthman ibn Affan made it to the official port of Makkah. This strict association with the Muslim annual pilgrimage or Hajj gave historic Jeddah a cosmopolitan population where Muslims from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East resided and worked, contributing to the city's growth and prosperity. Historic Jeddah reflects the final flourishing of the Indian Ocean Sea trade after the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869 and the introduction of steamboats that link Europe with India and Asia. This brought enormous wealth to many merchants who built lavishly decorated houses, and it also led to developments of socks and muskets. In addition, the increase in sea-going vessels allowed many more pilgrims to make the pilgrimage to Makkah, resulting in an expansion in the provision of accommodation for these visitors. The cityscape of historic Jeddah is the result of an important exchange of human values, technical know-how, building materials and techniques across the Red Sea region and along the Indian Ocean routes between the 16th and the early 20th century. Historic Jeddah represents this cultural world that thrived, thanks to international sea trade, possess a shared geographical, cultural, and religious background, and built settlements with specific and innovative technical and aesthetic solutions to cope with the extreme climatic conditions of the region. Jeddah was, for centuries, the most important, largest, and richest among these settlements, and today, historic Jeddah is the last surviving urban site along the Red Sea coast that still preserves the ensemble of the attributes of this culture: commercial-based economy, multicultural environment, isolated outward-oriented houses, coral masonry construction, precious woodwork decorating the facades, and specific technical devices to aid internal ventilation. The development of the Russian tower houses in the second half of 19th century illustrates the evolution of the patterns of trade and pilgrimage in the Arabian Peninsula and in Asia following the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869 and the development of steamboat navigation routes linking Europe with India and East Asia. The extraordinary relevance of Jeddah's tower houses is further increased by the fact that they are not only unique within the Red Sea culture region, an architectural typology born in Jeddah that spread to the nearby Hijaz cities of Al-Madinah, Makka, and Taif, from where it has since completely disappeared under the pressure of modern development. The overall landscape of Jeddah is characterized not only by the aesthetically remarkable tower houses but also by the dense accumulations of lower houses, the ensembles of structures that related to trade, religion, and the accommodation of pilgrims, and for the overall urban form and its division into clearly defined quarters. Furthermore, historic Jeddah, the gate to Makkah, is an urban environment boasting a strong trade-based economy intimately associated, both at the symbolic intangible level and the architectural and urban level, with the Hajj and a multicultural social framework where Muslims from all over the world live and work together. Its complete representation of the features and processes conveying its significance. Notwithstanding the inevitable decay of the historic structures and the overall evolution of its urban surroundings, the nominated property still possesses all the necessary attributes complying with the concept of intactness, including the commercial processes, the social relationships, and the dynamic functions essential to define its distinctive character. As many of the attributes are highly vulnerable to decay and lack of conservation, there needs to be a precise delineation of what survives in terms of buildings and urban plan as a basis for integrity and also for future protection and conservation, and a clear understanding of the threshold beyond which integrity would no longer be intact if further buildings were lost.